Good evening, I'm Rylee DeGood, and you're watching the only newscast committed to Northern Colorado. In tonight's top story, the man accused of starting the Mason Street fire in Old Town last year appeared in court today after posting bond and being released from jail.
Who's not helping in the fight against a large fire in Laramie County? Good evening, I'm Robert Sheeha.
And I'm Rylee DeGood. Thanks for joining us. That fire is now completely extinguished. We're going to get to more on that story in just a bit, but first, we've had several reports of semis blown over on Wyoming interstates, I think 3 on I-25 so far today, due to winds blowing over 60 miles per hour and much worse in some areas. Well, if you've noticed a stench coming from Holiday Park, well, you're not the only one. Cheyenne officials are looking for money to fix the odor coming from the lake. And Greeley police have arrested a man they say started a truck fire outside a hotel last week. Police say Tomas Paniagua was arrested in San Antonio, Texas on felony arson charges. What store tops the list of U.S. chains? Chances are you own one of its products. The Apple Store is by far the most valuable chain in the country. $72 to $135 million. That's the amount of money one company says could be coming to the city of Cheyenne over a 30-year period. And a Cheyenne woman is behind bars after police found around 30 grams of cocaine in her home. 43-year-old Christina Linmore, one of the most outspoken animal activist groups in the U.S., has spoken out in support of horse slaughter facilities coming back to the states. PETA never cheered the initial ban on horse slaughter 5 years ago, knowing that the halt to U.S. slaughterhouses didn't put a stop to the act itself. The report stated the EPA is concerned with the movement of the contamination through the aquifer, and they need to ensure safe drinking water for Pavilion residents. Wyoming Department of Transportation says they need money to keep Wyoming's highways intact. But are you willing to pay $40 for a driver's license, or how about $7.50 more for registering your car? It's days like today that it's tempting to run outside, warm up your car, and run back inside to drink a cup of coffee. But for many, you may find an unwelcome surprise. Northern Colorado 5's Aaron Fry explains. Well, finally, some NBA news that isn't about the lockout.
No
the Nuggets,
more lockout. The Nuggets tipping
the
off
Nuggets
their
are
season
tipping off.
Absolutely, entirely new.
A report coming out tomorrow by an environmental group says Wyoming is one of the 15 filthiest states in the country. And prosecutors plan to file more charges against a Colorado lawyer accused of stealing up to $1 million from his clients and then fleeing. Today, you may have noticed you couldn't access some of your favorite websites.
Yeah.
Well, Governor Matt Mead is finishing up his first year in office. This year, he's seen unemployment decline from 6.3% in January of 2011 to 5.8% in November. And Texas Governor Rick Perry is getting out of the race for president. He started strong but quickly fell in the polls after poor showings in early debates. Recent polls showed him dead last in South Carolina ahead of Saturday's primary. Perry says it's time to end it, and now he's throwing his support behind another candidate. But tonight, it's all about President Obama as he delivers his third State of the Union address at the White House. Obama is expected to outline a blueprint for the economy, which includes tax breaks for companies that create jobs, clean energy initiatives, and the so-called Buffett rule, which is a minimum tax rate for the wealthiest Americans. And the State of the Union address will be broadcast live right here on CBS News Channel 5 starting at 7 p.m., so you can tune in for that. And an interesting note, Gabrielle Giffords, who is still recovering from being shot in the head, I believe it was about a year or so ago.
It was January 8th.
January 8th,
right.
Okay, so just a little over a year ago. She will be in attendance tonight. From a new car wash to a men's clothing store to the city selling land to Menards, it's been an active 2011 for businesses. Good evening, I'm Rylee DeGood. Bob has the night off. We'll get to that story in just a moment, but first, those enjoying their morning cup of coffee got quite the surprise when a single gunshot was heard inside the local Starbucks on Central yesterday morning. Police say a gun in a purse belonging to a young lady went off inadvertently, putting a hole through a chair and the wall. Luckily, no one was hurt. The girl was issued a summons for possession of a firearm by a juvenile. Well, it may not yet be looking like Christmas, but definitely feels more like Christmas out.
Absolutely. And we might be taking care of that look.
Thanks, Chris. And Kara, we've got a lot of new names on the UNC men's basketball roster this year. Yeah. Yesterday, Time Magazine released its Person of the Year, the Protester.
That's right. Last time we told you about the new cigarette labels that you'll start to see come, when is it, September of 2012?
2012,
yeah, what do you got in a web poll, though?
We had a web poll, will these
Facebook.
work? Well, most people say no. 82% said no, 18% said yes. And in fact, on Facebook, we opened it up for conversation. Same thing on Facebook. Most people are saying no, it's not going to going to work. It seems to be the only thing people are talking about, Tim Tebow and the Denver Broncos. They'll be taking on the New England Patriots tomorrow night, and as Northern Colorado 5's Tom Livingston reports, Bronco Mania is running a mile high. A Cheyenne judge has denied a defense lawyer's request to dismiss a death penalty case. This morning, Laramie County District Judge Peter Arnold denied a motion from Robert Rose, the lawyer representing Nathaniel Castellanos of Cheyenne. Castellanos has pled not guilty to 2 counts of murder in connection to a shooting at his home last summer. Proposed job cuts by wind turbine maker Vestas are not expected to blow into Colorado. The company announced today it will lay off 2,300 employees as part of their reorganization plan to reduce costs by more than $191 million. In Nebraska, more testimony was heard today in the case against a Scottsbluff police officer accused of possessing child pornography. 27-year-old Tyler Rinpold faces 10 counts of possessing child pornography, a Class 3 felony. He says the pornographic images and videos on his computer were not his. Instead, they belonged to a coworker. Well, the coworker today took the stand and denied sharing a computer with him.